to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and the good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France. And of course, you good old boys in Canada, you know we love you up in Canada. But Big C, there's no one we love more than all the good old boys down south. In the land of the free and the home of the brave. Big C, how's it going for you on this beautiful September the 8th, 2017, Big C?
It's a wonderful and fulfilling Friday. If you recall, a couple of weeks ago, I was out on my ATV and this deer ran into me.
Yeah.
And the thing, I think he ran into me and knocked me down because I had too much of him and I'm laying here just...
That's funny.
He was turned into.
Yeah, I tell you what, he was probably trying to get out of the storms. So hopefully they need to have signs where they say Animal Crossing. That's not fair to the animals because a lot of you good old boys, that's where you guys line up, Big C. Is that what I understand?
Sometimes we like to cheat this a little bit. We sound like some periodically. And, we go sit there where we know that he's going to show up. So, that way also you save the economy, Charles, because you're not using so many gasoline fumes running around, in those
That's very true. I do want to say today's segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them that Big C sent you. Big C, I know there's so many things going on in the world, and we would be remiss if we did not tell people, heed the warnings getting out of Florida. There's a hurricane coming, I believe they're saying on the weather channels, it's the size of Texas, rolling through Florida, about to hit it on Sunday. And just watching some of the news outlets, do you find that people down south are taking it seriously, or do they think that it's going to miss them, Big C? Your thoughts?
That's a rough situation for mankind.
Yeah.
Because, you keep the first responders around to aid those in need that can't get out. But when you have people who refuse to leave, and the swatch of this hurricane, Charlton, is actually wider than the state of Florida.
Wow.
So everybody's going to be hit in some capacity, whether it's just a deluge of rain, but high wind, there's winds right now tracking at 155 miles an hour.
My goodness.
So this is going to be some devastation, Charlton, when it hits the coast, especially down the lower keys. And, you wish everyone well in a situation like this, but Mother Nature is not a toy.
Yeah.
We think in this modern technological age that we can withstand and do anything, but if you look at the city of Miami, a city that's right now hosting over 30 huge cranes on construction projects.
Wow.
Those can be some devastating events, Charlton, if those cranes break loose and start to move around and fly across the sky, Charlton, not only will they destroy that, but anything underneath it. So, this is a troubling situation that's going on in Florida right now. And our hearts and prayers, like you said, go out to those people down there, Charlton, that everyone can remain safe as much as possible.
That's definitely true, but please heed the warning, and I hope you're safe as well, Big C. I know a lot of you guys have a lot of things going on more than sports this weekend, but we do want to hit on some college football, and I want to congratulate these college programs, especially the top programs, for playing the top games. I mean, they're playing like it's a playoff atmosphere so far. And obviously, Alabama getting a kind of a week off in a sense for tough competition. They're playing Fresno State, retired Derek Carr's jersey last week in Fresno. But the Bulldogs are in over their head down at Alabama. But the big game of the week is we look at Ohio State and Oklahoma. Ohio State's favored by 7 points in this game. The over-under is 65. For two teams that can score a lot of points, that seems like a really low over-under, Big C. Your thoughts?
I think that'll be eclipsed by the end of the third quarter.
Yeah.
Coming out, throwing the ball all over the place for Oklahoma. Even though J.T. Barrett had a tremendous second half, athleticism is what this game is all about.
Yeah.
And you look at these two coaches, Urban Meyer, who has been around and won every big game that you can win.
Yeah.
You look at the freshman coach there at Oklahoma who took over for Bob Stoops.
Yeah.
But, Lincoln Riley was the offensive coordinator there, Charlton, so he knows the players. It's not, he's not Tom Herman walking in looking for a ball of
Yeah.
Everything, I think, if he has to do that, he might want to call, the Disney Corporation, because Tinkerbell might be getting a little
Yeah, that's funny.
When you look at this situation with Lincoln Riley, he coached Baker Mayfield, was a Heisman finalist last year.
Yeah.
But, Oklahoma's never a shortage of athletes, just like at Ohio State.
Yeah.
I look for this to be a high-scoring affair. Last year, Ohio State dominated this game, Charlton.
Yeah.
In Norman.
Yeah.
But this year, Charlton, it's going to be a flip-flop in that scenario. I see Oklahoma with the new coach not playing, conservative. We always knew Bob Stoops would always lose a big game.
Yeah.
Whether it was, the Red River rivalry or some big game that would knock Oklahoma out of the national championship.
Yeah.
I think with Lincoln Riley, the tables will turn this year, Charlton.
Obviously, it's going to be a huge matchup. Winning in the Buckeye State up in the Big Horseshoe, that's going to be impressive. The crowd would be amazing. I look for a big physical football game, and can't wait to see that one. Another game that when you think about the national championship last year and how well Clemson played football, Big C, they're playing another SEC power in Auburn. Auburn's ranked 13th in the polls, and I'm telling you, Clemson looks as good this year as they looked last year, even though they had an easy opponent week 1. But they have a 4-point favorite, and the over-under in that one is 54. Your thoughts on that game is going to be on ESPN over on Saturday, Big C. Your thoughts? Yeah.
And they got their running game back on track in week 1. Clemson is such a balanced team offensively. But the thing that people don't realize about Clemson, even though, Deshaun Watson got a lot of publicity last year,
yeah,
and all his weapons he had on offense,
yeah,
it was the defense that really carried Clemson to that national championship.
Yeah.
If you think about it, they limited Alabama to just 4 touchdowns in that game. 4.
Yeah.
This was a high-powered offense coming in, and that's the way that they played their season last year, Charlton. And they started out their season this way.
Yeah.
Where everybody looked at them scoring some 50 points in that opening game. But they forgot about the defense really held down that opposing offense.
Yeah.
So I like the defense of Clemson. I think it's across the board equally to what Alabama have. It's not just a notch better. I would say those two teams have the top 2 defenses in the country. I think they can play Auburn close to the best,
yeah,
and win that game by at least 10, Charles.
That's a very good point, Big C. We look at Penn State, which lost the Rose Bowl last year in a last-second field goal to USC. They rolled in week 1. They're 1-0, ranked number 4 in the country. They're a 16-point favorite versus in-state rival Pittsburgh. That game's on Saturday at ABC 3:30. And the over-under, again, is 66 points, another high-scoring game. But Penn State, they might get that on their own, Big C. Your thoughts? Yeah.
They won the Big Ten last year.
Yeah.
They came out last year, and Pittsburgh lost their offensive coordinator. He's down at LSU now.
Yeah.
So they have to readjust offensively. But Penn State came back stacked.
Yeah.
You looked at that Rose Bowl and the offensive production that they had last year in the Rose Bowl. They didn't fall off. USC didn't have the same production.
No.
But Penn State upped their production after the Rose Bowl. So this is a very veteran-laden, talented team that won the Big Ten last year, Charlton, and still should be the favorite in the Big Ten.
Well, I tell you, they're playing like it, and they're playing with an attitude, and sometimes that's what you need to prepare yourself to have success in the next season, Big C. A big game in California, especially Southern California, meeting Northern California. The number 5 ranked USC Trojans 1-0 in this season. We saw what happened against Western Michigan. They didn't really play very impressively, Big C, and their Heisman Trophy candidate, Sam Darnold, did not have a great game. The over-under against Stafford is 56 points. They're favored by 6, which is a scary thing. I know that USC went up to Stafford and won on the farm last year when they started turning things around. But Stafford has had a lot of success going to Southern California and winning games. Another thing that may kind of shock the Stafford people, they're playing this game at nighttime, where they'll get more fans in Southern California to come out to the Coliseum. That game is Saturday. Stafford's ranked number 14, but it's an 8:30 game on Fox, so 8:30 p.m. So it's going to start at 5:30 when a lot of people can get settled down. That game is kind of a pick'em game, but USC is plus 6, which seems like a lot of points given them compared to how well Stafford plays them on the road. Big C, your thoughts, Stafford going in with the over-under at 56. Yeah.
To sit in a hot stadium.
Yeah.
Stanford is that smash mouth football team. David Shaw knows how to prepare for USC. He and Clay Helton have cross paths.
Yeah.
Clay Helton was a coordinator.
Yeah.
And he dominated him, Charlton. USC, talent-wise, Charlton, they're equal to anybody in the country when you look at offensive speed.
Yeah.
When you look at the rotation of running back they have, they're 6 deep at wide receiver, they're 3 deep at running back.
Yeah.
The offensive line is much improved from what it was a year ago, Charlton, now that they've worked with, Donald for a year.
Yeah.
Stanford, is still filling in somebody, even though they've won, the first couple games of the season. This is their first true test, Charlton, coming in Southern California.
Yeah.
And, will they fulfill? You got to look at Donald. Did not throw a touchdown pass in the opening week, Charlton.
No.
That has to be some concern for USC. Can he push the ball in the end zone through the air? If not, it's going to be a long night for USC. And
you look at Stanford, and Stanford can flat out run the football. So no matter who wins, it will not be an upset. I know that Pac-12, they need USC to win that game, and I know people know that Los Angeles is closer to Las Vegas than Stanford is, Big C. But for the bowl competition, they need USC to win this game. But I can't say you could find a better coach in the Pac-12 conference than David Shaw. That's a game I'm really looking forward to. We already talked about Oklahoma. We talked about the Auburn game. I'm going to get your thoughts on something with Notre Dame football. Notre Dame, college football is always better when Notre Dame's on top. You talked about that before. They air Parsegian. You had so many great coaches that came through out there. And Lou Holtz and what he did, helping them win a national championship. Georgia's coming into Notre Dame Stadium. Georgia's ranked number 20, actually 15th in the country. Notre Dame's ranked number 25. That game's going to be on NBC at 7:30, so another East Coast time. And when you think about it, Georgia's loaded, but they have some injuries. Notre Dame, I don't know if they're back yet, but they're always sexy to watch on TV, Big C. What are your thoughts on seeing Georgia coming to the Great North and take on Notre Dame, Big C? Your thoughts? Yeah.
So this is going to be a challenge of ball control, I do feel. Georgia has a tandem of running backs led by Chubb.
Yeah, Chubb.
He's come back from a catastrophic injury 2 years ago and regained his old form.
Yeah.
And Murray, his running mate, that they switch off a tailback. They both had over 100 yards rushing last week. That's going to be the key to the game, Charlton. Can they keep the pressure off of the young quarterback making his first start?
Yeah.
Going up to South Bend is never an easy place to play.
No.
You and the buddy touchdown, Jesus.
Yeah, I love Jesus.
and Notre Dame has a tendency to get a little home cooking with the referees.
Oh, you think? Yeah.
But they get a little home cooking from time to time. Maybe with instant replay, it may balance it out. This will be a tough one for Georgia and Kirby Smart on the road to go up to South Bend and pull out a victory, Chelsea.
Yeah, especially when that grass is about knee deep, from what I understand. Big C, they don't like to cut the grass up there, South Bend. But obviously, I love watching the Golden Dome helmet. It's very, very appealing when you see that on TV. A game that might be under the radar, but I think it has vibrations throughout the Great Northwest and the Pac-12 Conference. Number 22 ranked Washington State, with their Heisman candidate quarterback that gets no attention whatsoever, Big C. They're playing the bucket, I guess the bracket buster in Boise State. Now that game's going to be Saturday. It's an ESPN game. It's a 10:30 East Coast time, so a lot of people won't even see it. It's a 7:30 kickoff on the West Coast, so the stadium's going to be crazy. Now Boise State's used to knocking off Pac-12 powers, but for Washington State and Coach Mike Leach, this is a game that will get them more national attention if they can find a way to avoid the upset. Your thought on Boise State going into Washington State and their Heisman Trophy candidate that no one even talks about at quarterback? Your thoughts, please.
They got two excellent quarterbacks, Rippon for Boise State and Folk for Washington State, who just under 5,000 yards passing last year.
Yeah.
And really went under the radar because he had all these other hype quarterbacks in his conference up at the University of Washington in Southern California.
Yeah.
But, in the Pac-12, he's the best pure passer that they have. The offensive line has gotten a lot better over the past season. They've done a tremendous job protecting and keeping the offensive back.
Yeah.
Mike Leach has upgraded that program all over. You look at Boise State on the other hand, we know they have a consistent history of playing up to the big game.
Yeah.
Regardless. They love prime time. They love the big boys going into their house and, knocking them down a peg.
Yeah.
But this is a game that, as you say, Leach has a team now that's mature. Washington has a winning culture. Washington State, rather, has a winning culture. something they didn't have a half a decade and a decade ago, Charlton.
No.
The big game, was not their game. Now, Charlton, they look forward to it. We've seen them be very competitive. They were knocked off by Washington late last year, for the Pac-12, was it 2020 title, right?
Yeah, in the Apple Cup, yeah.
But, this is a game that I really like competitive-wise because Boise is not a team that will lay down. But I look at folks' arm being just a little too much and winning by 2 touchdowns.
That's a very good point, Big C. I do want to say that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. When you need sporting events, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They've been around for half a century. They work with Big C Sports. They cover pro athletes, collegiate athletes, high school players, even your mom and pop soccer leagues. When you reach out to them, let them know that Big C sent you. Big C, as we transition into the NFL, what an environment last night in Foxborough, Massachusetts, to see a team that came in by Andy Reid, very well coached. Alex Smith was really kind of under the radar, even taking a back seat to Mahomes as far as media savvy attention. And Tom Brady, everyone's saying that he could play another 4 or 5 years. It's the first time I've seen Tom Brady look like he's already 45, Big C. Your thoughts on Kansas City going in and putting a beat down 42-7 against Coach Belichick? Your thoughts, Big C? Yeah.
Kansas City was left to be able to stay into this game.
Yeah.
Because if you go up 2 touchdowns on any NFL team, all of a sudden, Charlton, the wind's out of the sails.
Yeah.
And typical of the media, they're always talking about the guy who's no longer going to be there, but he's still there.
Yeah.
Alex Smith has witnessed this rodeo before when he was in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And, just because he got a new gun in town doesn't mean he's willingly going to just give up his job. You look at how he played last night. He played like the number 1 overall draft pick from a decade ago that he was.
Yeah.
A decade ago that he was, Charles.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything wrong in Kansas City since he's been there. They've made the playoffs every year. They won the AFC West. They were a 12-14, Charles.
Yeah.
Everybody talk about Alex Smith like he was a 6-6 quarterback or he was Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. That's funny.
This is a team that didn't want to lay down and didn't lay down. They got a lot of players back. They had a rookie back out of Toledo who fumbled on his first touch, Charlton, but after that he looked like an all-pro.
Yeah.
Eric Johnson recovers from his second Achilles surgery, Charlton, at linebacker along with Houston on the outside.
Yeah.
And they kept pressure on Brady all night long.
Well,
and that was the difference.
Yeah, they look very, very competitive. Maybe New England is a little bit old. Maybe there was too much celebration going on. No matter what it is, you got to credit Andy Reid. I mean, if this is a playoff game, obviously it'd be a lot more impressive than a Week 1 win. But still, congratulations to the good old boys from Kansas City going in there and winning. Big C, another big game if we stay out to the AFC East. Buffalo favored by 9. Now, it was a 6-point spread yesterday. It's 9 points now with the over-under at 40, playing against the New York Jets. I know the Jets are really beaten up a lot. And even though the season just started, they just haven't had a lot of expectations of winning. Your thoughts on Buffalo? Why is it play spread going from 9 yesterday to actually from 6 yesterday to 9 today, Big C? Your thoughts?
I think the realize that the Jets are not going to start a quarterback in this game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoever you start in Buffalo versus whoever you start in New York. I mean, at some point in the NFL, you got to put a quarterback in the backfield.
Well, I heard that Joe Namath was warming up in sweats, Big C. That it's kind of made me nervous when I saw Joe. I said, Joe Namath, Broadway Joe warming up on the sideline, Big C. Your thoughts? Yeah.
Okay? That's a joke.
Yeah.
And that's where the NFL is, where you have guys that are out of a job that are better than anybody you have on your roster.
Yeah.
At some point, the media has to sit up and say that we've been a racist towards a certain guy.
Yeah.
The NFL has to sit up and say we've been a racist towards a certain guy. But I guess when you're a billionaire,
Yeah.
and you're not looking to win a championship in the NFL, you really don't care who you play quarterback.
Yeah.
You just play anybody because you got a guaranteed paycheck.
Yeah.
As an owner.
Yeah.
And the Super Bowl title, is out of your grasp because overall you don't have enough depth and talent on your roster to compete. You're the Jets. You're going to get your brakes beat off you by the Patriots twice.
Yeah.
The Patriots going to beat everybody in their division.
Yeah. Yeah.
So right off the back, you can write in 6 wins for the Patriots.
Yep.
Just playing divisional games. And all they got to do is win another 6 on the road, against non-division teams. That's the title. It's 12-4.
Yeah.
So when we look at the Jets, Charlton, you you can sit there and look at the roster revamping. You know, I feel bad for Todd Bowles.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he has nothing to play with. You know, when you go into the start of an NFL season and you don't have a quarterback, you'll always have double-digit deficits in Las Vegas.
That's a very good point. Big C, the Atlanta Falcons, we know what happened to them last year at the Super Bowl. They still look like they're very healthy. They have an attitude maybe to come back and finally close the deal this time. They're a 7-point favorite over the Chicago Bears going into the Windy City. The over-under is 49, but the big question is, did Julio Jones ever find his earring, Big C? Was that ever turned in? Yeah.
Let me reminisce on what they did.
Yeah, you okay, Big C?
Arthur got the big bird outside the new stadium, so we don't want anybody to choke on him.
That's funny.
Maybe they choked on Julio's diamond ring.
Yeah.
This is a team, Charlton, that has a lot to prove. They look very pedestrian during the preseason.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things you always worry about the preseason. New England was the same way. Tom Brady didn't get a lot of reps in the preseason.
No.
And you look at all the offensive players that they brought in, it was a very new team from last year.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that happened with the Atlanta Falcons, Charlton. They didn't get a lot of reps in the preseason.
Yeah.
And so that's always concerning. Devontae Freeman had a concussion, so you know he didn't play but one game in the preseason.
Yeah.
They had to hold him out the last two. So this is an offense that has to get on track. Matt Ryan, will he have that shock hangover from the Super Bowl where, you know, he tried to do too much and didn't get enough done?
Yeah.
You know, the Chicago Bears have Trubisky, that, you know, rookie number 2 overall draft pick
Yeah.
that they're going to start. But other than that, who is he going to throw the ball to, Charlton? That's the true key.
Yeah.
You know, who is he going to throw the ball to? I mean, White didn't have the rookie year that they expected for him to have last year out of West Virginia, their number 1 overall draft pick.
Yeah.
So this is a team that has to prove itself. The offensive line, no one knows who's blocking for who.
Yeah.
No running back. So this is one that the Falcons should win easily. They got one of the best kickers in the NFL.
Yeah.
And Brian, you know, we know the high-powered offense that they have. Will that high-powered offense recover from the Super Bowl?
That's a very good point, Big C. The Houston Texans, you know, they've been through a lot down there with all the flooding and the hurricane that hit Houston, and of course J.J. Watt and all the other people that have been raising money. I think he raised over $27 million to help the flood victims out of Texas. So
that's great by J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a humanitarian effort from an individual who went out and thought community first
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that deserve to be in a better position than they were. I mean, I don't care who does what the rest of the year in America.
Yeah.
President Trump could not hold J.J. Watt's jockstrap.
No,
okay?
no.
As far as a humanitarian.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about a guy who really should be in the White House. That's J.J. Watt, because when you talk about helping Americans,
Yeah.
helping the citizens of America, they don't have to be Americans, but helping the citizens.
Yeah.
J.J. Watt has gone above and beyond, Charleston.
Yeah.
Above and beyond.
And when you think about it, too, the diversity in Texas, a lot of Hispanics down there that have been told, get the hell out of the country and all that garbage. I think people pulled together. I really appreciate what Watt's done, as well as a lot of other NFL football players that have put their money where their mouth is. And I think better than all of them would be Colin Kaepernick, because he's done it as an ostracized player. He doesn't even have a job, and he's still putting his money where his mouth is, and he's led the way when he's been ostracized. So I want to congratulate people like that, and I just hope that more of it continues to happen throughout the year. I want to get your thoughts real quick, though. Houston, a 6-point favorite. The over-under is 39 on Jacksonville. Jacksonville has a decent running game. A lot of people think they'll have a better year than last year, but Houston's a tough defense when you're going up against them, even especially at home. Big C, your thoughts? That might be a better year, Big Z, from what I understand. Yeah.
Situation, okay?
Yeah.
That's how bad Jacksonville is. You can say they have a running game. You have no running game when they know you can't throw the football.
Yeah.
Regardless of how good your running backs are.
Yeah.
Sit there and laugh, they're going to run it again.
Yeah.
Eventually that running back will get it.
Yeah.
You look at the motivation that Houston is possessed with right now, Tom. They have the weight of the state of Texas on their back.
Yeah.
And I don't see any way that they can have an emotional letdown. Maybe they might go into this game being a little too high, and I'm not talking about being like the Denver.
They're not in Denver. Yeah.
This is a game that, if I'm a Jacksonville Jaguar, I fear for myself.
Yeah.
Because the tenacity that Houston's going to play with on both sides of the ball, Charlton, we very rarely witness that in the NFL. But
Yeah.
we will see it this Sunday with the Texans and the Jaguars.
Obviously, it should be a good defensive showing by Houston. The Philadelphia Eagles, a 1-point favorite over Washington. That game's in Washington. The over-under is 47.5. Can Carson Wentz have a better season than Kirk Cousins? Big C, your thoughts on Philadelphia going into Washington this Sunday?
I like Philadelphia this game by at least a touchdown. When you look at the offensive weapons
Yeah.
that Philadelphia's equipped Carson Wentz with this year,
Yeah.
upgraded the receiving core. They've added 2 big free agent wide receivers to that receiving core, Charlton. They've added a running back.
Yeah.
So it's LeGarrette Blount, who led the league in rushing touchdowns last year, Charlton. This is a team Carson Wentz now has a year under his belt. If he doesn't suffer that sophomore jinx,
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins doesn't stand a chance because Kirk Cousins has nobody to throw the ball to, Charlton. Everybody abandoned Washington that was catching footballs last year.
Yeah, that's
His top 2 receivers are gone.
a very good point,
What are
Big
you
C.
left with? Your top running back is gone.
Yeah.
Everybody knew that the organization was going to pay Kirk Cousins and wasn't going to pay anybody else. So everybody else decided to go get their paycheck elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because you can go to any mediocre team in the NFL, Charlton, and be a 500 team.
Yeah.
Why stay where you're not going to get paid and be a 500 team?
Big C, that's a very good point. The Arizona Cardinals out of the NFC West, they're a 2-point favorite on the road at Detroit. That over-under is 47.5. You have Palmer versus Stafford. Stafford's taking way too much money. I don't see him getting the support around him because he wants all the money in his pocket, Big C, instead of being like a Tom Brady and having it spread out. Your thoughts on Arizona going into Detroit and getting the win? Your thoughts?
When you look at Stafford, Charlton,
Yeah.
here's a guy who has proven that, hey, I can get paid.
Yeah.
I won 1 playoff game in my entire career. 1. And that makes me the highest paid player in NFL history.
Yeah.
By winning 1 playoff game.
Yeah.
So, I look at Detroit and I constantly wonder what is wrong with the Ford family out there.
How does Aaron Rodgers feel? How is Aaron?
I guess that car sales went down. Spend money on a quarterback.
Yeah.
But they don't spend it on anything else, Charlton.
No.
When you look at it. I look at Caldwell, who has done a tremendous job in turning that organization around. They say it's Stafford.
Yeah.
But I look at the head coach, Caldwell, who came from Indianapolis, who worked under Tony Dungy. And, he's got this organization to a track, but he's done it defensively
Yeah.
more than he's done it offensively, Charlton, because they've learned how to stop people.
Yeah.
But, I don't know how you pay this guy that kind of money. I don't know how you pay Cousins that type of money.
No.
Charlton, because you were under 500. 2 years
They're not winning.
in the NFL, you're a 500
Yeah.
quarterback, and you make $25 million a year.
Yeah.
So, I drink a lot of moonshine, periodically.
Yeah.
But one of the things that GM's got to learn, you can't drink moonshine when you're sitting in there negotiating.
Hey, I think at the best sports agents in the history of the world, because they sit at the table with the owner. They say, my guy's only won 1 playoff game. He's never been to a divisional championship game. Of course, never to the Super Bowl. But we want him to be the highest paid player in the history of the NFL at his position. And the owner says, okay, well, I don't knock the guy. What's that movie, Show Me the Money? The good old boy back in the day with the movie Cuba Gooding. Yeah, Tom Cruise. Yeah, so obviously, and they have the agents that can get it done. I do want to ask you what could be the game of the week. Going out to the south, you have the Oakland Raiders. They're traveling to Tennessee, and they're a 2-point underdog. Tennessee's favored by 2. The over-under is 50. You have Marcus Mariota, who may have a stellar year this year. I remember how great he was at Oregon. And you have Carr, who became a high-paid quarterback this past season too, Big C. But both teams have to run the football to win that game. Your thoughts on Tennessee? Can they stop Oakland coming in with, what do they have, those Pirates on their helmets, Big C? Can the Pirates get away with the win, Big C? Your thoughts? Yeah.
He's going to need to keep Tennessee off the field. Lynch touches the ball in a running position less than 20 times. I don't think that the Raiders can win this game.
Yeah.
He has to have at least 20 carries out of the backfield, not receptions, but carries for the Raiders to win this game because you're going to have to keep Tennessee's offense off the field because I think the number one question for the Raiders, are their defensive backs going to come to the game?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
This is a team, as good as their offense is, their defense is just as bad.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Anybody out there other than a couple of rush ends that can really do anything.
Yeah.
You know, because their secondary is very porous.
Yeah.
Their defensive line has been inconsistent. But, you know, when you bring in two new quarterbacks, Charlton, thinking that you're going to stop a high-powered NFL offense,
Yeah.
it's kind of tough to do that. The Dallas Cowboys are in the same boat as the Raiders.
Yeah.
We saw what happened when you have an efficient passing game when they played Kansas City a couple of times last year.
That's a very good point.
Tennessee has an equal, if not a better passing game than Kansas City. So it can spell a lot of problems for the Raiders, Charlton.
Big C, that's a very good point. Also, another big game coming up in the Midwest. You have Cincinnati, they're favored by 3 over Baltimore, and the over-under is 42 in that game. Should be a great defensive slugfest. Your thoughts, Big C?
Another game where Baltimore doesn't have a quarterback. You know, the Shoddy, the owner, you know, balked at the idea of signing Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Kaepernick almost beat him in the Super Bowl, and you know, here it is, Ray Lewis, you know, saying that, hey, I had control of Bashadi and I was going to get him signed because I was better than his agent.
Yeah.
That fell through.
Yeah.
But the scenario is in Baltimore, Joe Flacco's getting paid a lot of money not to play football right
Yeah.
now. And you got some backups in that couldn't even make the roster anywhere else.
Yeah.
But, you know, since you didn't have a starting quarterback, you just kept them on the roster anyway.
Are those the backups that the fans were praying for, Big C? Is that what you're saying?
Bashadi put the questions out to the fans.
Yeah.
Do you want these scrubs that we have playing quarterback?
And they say yes. Yeah.
And the fans answered, no, we want people who can win.
Yeah.
That's what we're accustomed to. Okay?
Yeah.
So, you know that the owner's lying when that is said, Charlton.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is a game where Baltimore is in disarray offensively. You know, no running game, no starting quarterback.
Yeah.
2 new offensive linemen, Charlton. So they have to get on track. There's some serious questions on their defense. They only have Suggs who had injuries late last year.
Yeah.
But he's gotten older, Charlton. He's not the Suggs of 4 years ago.
That's a very good point.
He's gotten a lot older since then.
Very good point.
This is a game, Charlton, that could be a big challenge for the Ravens.
Yeah. Obviously, it's going to be a defensive slugfest. Looking forward to that one. Pittsburgh, a 9-point favorite over Cleveland. The over-under is 46.5. Can Big Ben go into Cleveland like everybody else has done over the last couple of years and not get upset, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, you know, you think about Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Cleveland always plays Pittsburgh tough, Charlton.
Yeah.
Dude, for some reason, that divisional game has always been a tough game. You know, Le'Veon Bell set out the entire preseason. I know, you know, as a veteran, you don't always need as many reps because you understand the offense.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett, the number 1 overall draft pick at defensive end, I guess he pumped up and got scared of what the offensive line did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to play.
Yeah.
So he's not going to show up for the game, Chelsea. He's going to take the paycheck and just sit on the sideline and watch.
Yep.
But, you know, this is a game where Deshaun Kaiser is going to get his first start as an NFL rookie
Yeah.
quarterback out of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And a lot of people thought that he was the best quarterback in the draft.
Yeah.
When you were looking at the guys who were coming out.
Yeah.
He was potentially the number 1 draft pick.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's in that chance. There's a great defensive history in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And, you know, if he can do anything halfway decent, Charlton, he can have a decent game, and the Browns can have a decent game against the Steelers.
Yeah, another big game for Southern California. The second year back, the LA Rams. They're a 3-point favorite over the Indianapolis Colts. The over-under is only 42 when you have a quarterback that was drafted the number 1 last year in golf, but obviously he just hasn't lived up to it. Hopefully he'll have a better year this year. And Andrew Luck, I guess he doesn't want to play at all anymore. He's always injured for something after the game. I guess that money bag was too heavy and it hurt his arm again, Big C. Your thoughts? Yeah.
One of them is 0-2-1 as a starter.
Yep.
The other one is 0-7 as a starter.
Wow.
And you said the over and under is 40?
42?
It might be 42?
Yeah.
I mean, 4 might be too high.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have 2 quarterbacks that have never won an NFL game as a start. And we'll go back to the Kaepernick scenario game.
Yeah.
Listen to me. You got 2 quarterbacks, Charlton, that have never won a start game in the NFL. So one of them has to win. If
Yeah.
it doesn't end in a tie, that would make Borzine 0-2-2.
Yeah.
In a tie.
Yeah.
So that's how bad this game is.
Yeah.
You know, this is the reason why the NFL broadcasts more than one game at a time.
Oh, yeah.
So so you can change the channel away from this.
Yeah, I'm telling you, obviously 90,000 empty seats. Maybe they'll have it half full, or maybe they'll fill it up because it's a week one. Another huge game that's coming up, you have Green Bay. They're a 3-point favorite at home at Lambeau Field versus the Seattle Seahawks. The over-under is 50. They've always played great games. I remember the overtime game up in Seattle for that last championship playoff game a couple of years ago. They're always playing tough football games. You have Wilson for Seattle. You have Green Bay and Rodgers. Your thoughts on what might be the biggest game of the weekend, Big C? Your thoughts? Yeah.
In the playoffs, they were out there they're being held together with Band-Aids and bubble gum.
And yeah. Yeah.
And now you got a full complement of receivers. You brought in Bennett from New England, a Super Bowl winning tight end.
Yeah.
Have another year in his belt at running back. Jordy Nelson, is just one of those receivers who can play pro football.
Yeah.
Charlton. He gets it done. He's fearless. He will catch the ball.
Yeah.
You look at Seattle. Russell Wilson is healthy started this season. If you recall last year, he was banged up, had that heavy knee brace for the first 5 games. You're going to see a motivated defense in Seattle, Charles. You got 8 players on the defensive side of the ball who have started in a Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
So there's no slouches on that side of the ball. We saw when Cam Chancellor got the big payday. You think about the 3 highest paid players on the Seahawks team, Charles. They play in the secondary.
Yeah.
And these are the guys who have to face Aaron Rodgers. So these two teams, we've seen basically like a rivalry, a Midwest and West Coast rivalry develop between these two teams because every time they get together, Charlton, there's some electricity and the game is always decided by the officials. That's
a very good point, Big C. Carolina coming back to where they lost their last Super Bowl appearance against the San Francisco 49ers, trying to rebuild. The over-under is 47.5, and Carolina's favored by 5.5. McCaffrey coming back to the West Coast. Big C, your thoughts?
What did Lynch do for the 49ers as far as player-wise, Charlton? We haven't heard anything offensively that they did that was going to upgrade that roster. I mean, Carlos Hyde couldn't hold on to the ball or stay healthy last year from the running back position.
Yeah.
So it was all done by committee at the quarterback.
Yeah.
When you look at Hoyer, who's going to be the starting quarterback for San Francisco, he was last seen in Houston, and they made the playoffs. But, he can't stay around anywhere for some reason. It's interesting. He started his career in New England.
Yeah.
He was the last team to take the Browns to a 10-win season.
Yeah.
But he just can't stay anywhere. This is a game where Cam Newton is coming back off the shoulder surgery, also a very disappointing last season, which was a good season for half the starting quarterbacks in the NFL, but a disappointing season for Cam. McCaffrey's making his college homecoming, back to his old stomping grounds there in Santa Clara, Charlton. So this is a big game for the Panthers. They've had the 49ers number the past 2 years, Charlton. I don't see any reason they're taking their foot off the throat this week.
And ironically, you bring it up. The last time the 49ers played a playoff game at Carolina, they had Kaepernick at quarterback, and they won. They beat Cam Newton and went on to advance in the playoffs, Big C. But the amazing thing is Kaepernick is still available, but this team that let him go, they think they found something better. They may be also the game of the night when you have the Dallas Cowboys and they're playing the New York Giants. That game, a 4-point favorite for the Dallas Cowboys at home, and their over-under is 47. Now, because Ezekiel Elliott, with the ruling, obviously he gets to play. I guess they have a temporary restraining order. When you have Jerry Jones writing checks to your attorney, I guess they can even beat the NFL. Big C, your thoughts on who might win that game coming up?
This is an interesting game because the Giants handled the Cowboys twice last year, Charlton. They beat them at home and in the Meadowlands.
Yeah.
So this is a proof game for the Cowboys. Are they that team to ready to take that leap, Charlton, to get to the next level? They have to get over the Giants, and there's a mental edge that the Giants have also. They have a tremendous defense with the Giants. They have a porous offensive line, but half of Dallas' defense is suspended.
Yeah.
They're coming out there with a bunch of guys that playing. This is a balanced team. There's a lot of speculation through your media people saying that Beckham is 50-50. No, Beckham's 100% to play in this game.
Yeah.
There's no 50-50 when it comes to a highlight game, a primetime game. Odell's taking, he's already got taped. He's not worried about anything.
Yeah.
This is a game that it's Eli Eli Manning's game to lose, Charlton. That's what this comes down to. Dallas has an entirely new secondary this year.
Yeah.
Now, if Eli cannot beat this entirely new secondary that the Dallas Cowboys have, he needs to take his head out of the ring saying, I'm one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL.
That's a very good point. Last two games, we'll do more preview on them on Monday. We had Minnesota. 48 is the over-under against New Orleans. That game's at Minnesota. Minnesota's a 3.5-point favorite. Adrian Peterson coming in his old home stomping grounds. Will he be very motivated to have a big game against Minnesota? Big C, your thoughts?
He's going to be motivated, Johnson, but I don't know how many times he'll get a chance to touch the ball. Drew Brees is what you have to worry about if you're Minnesota.
Yeah.
Sam Bradford has to be able to make it get through the game healthy.
Yeah.
Sam, set a completion percentage record last year in the NFL, but Charlton, after the first 5 games of the season, he realized he had won his season average, since being in the NFL and went into the tank.
Yeah.
You start out 5-0 and end up 8-8. You have a lot to prove in quarterback.
Yeah, that's true.
The Saints have been 7-9 the last 3 years, Charlton.
Yeah.
Just a couple of games away from being over 500 the past 3 years. I see Drew Brees seeing that the window is closing on him, and so he's going to do everything he can offensively to put his 350 yards up in the air and get his 35 points on the scoreboards for the Saints, Charles.
That's a very good point. Last game we'll preview Big C is also Monday night. Denver at home. 43.5 is the over-under. 3.5-point favorite over the L.A. Chargers. There's no more John Elways in Denver. Big C, your thoughts?
You would have thought that Denver may have had an advantage going into this game, with being a mile high and then marijuana being legal.
And they're too relaxed.
It's legal in Los Angeles, so this makes it an even game.
Okay.
When you look at this is a game between quarterbacks, the savvy veteran Rivers versus Simeon.
Yeah.
And I think Simeon might be feeling a little pressure because they bring Osweiler back in.
Yeah.
Now, he was the practice roster quarterback when Osweiler was on the roster when they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So is he looking over his shoulder? Is he scared to go out there and just let it fly? Is he going to play that conservatively? That's the thing that you worry about. Can Charles have anything left in those legs, the running back that they picked up from Kansas City?
Yeah.
Will he be able to keep that defense at bay? You look at San Diego, they seem to have upgraded a little bit defensively.
Yeah.
Their problem has been keeping their receiving core healthy. Can Allen come back and have a stellar year this year, Charlton, and Gordon stay healthy with the running ball?
Big C, that's very, very good news. We have a lot of good things coming up. We still hope everyone heed the warnings and get out of Florida, go north, listen to all the evacuation warnings, and be safe if you can. Big C, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bondini Brown. He was Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young men, rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe? They are too.
You're talking about downhill skiers in Southern California. That's what the guys are doing.
Yeah.
Even Clayton Kershaw couldn't get out of the 4th inning last night.
Yeah.
I'm looking at baseball as much as I'm looking at college and pro football, Charlton. Can the Dodgers get on track and sew up the West in the National League?
That's very good information. Everybody stay safe. And also, speaking of staying safe, every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide, follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. We always want to tell you there's never, ever any excuse for domestic violence. If you know any woman going through that garbage, just call 911 so she won't have to go through it on her own. As we always tell you on every Big C Sports program, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.